some absolute lunatic firebombed the Pennsylvania governor's mansion where Josh Shapiro and his wife and their children were sleeping. This guy goes in there at 2 a.m. I have to say, it wasn't exactly like a Jack Bauer entry. It seems like no one really tried to stop him. I don't know what the story is on the governor's security, but I'm underwhelmed that he managed to break the window, get into the governor's mansion, and start dropping Molotov cocktails. And then apparently it took them a while to actually track him down. That's a separate matter. Look at the devastation inside the mansion. You could hear Governor Shapiro came out after the fact, and you could tell he was somewhat rattled. Here he is, SOT 21.
Last night, we experienced an attack not just on our family, but on the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania here at the governor's residence. I spoke a couple hours ago with Director Kash Patel of the FBI. He promised all of the resources of the federal government. He was extremely kind and courteous and thoughtful in his conversation with me. And I thanked him and the women and men of the FBI and the President of the United States for their support. Lori and I are overwhelmed by the prayers and the messages of support that we've received from all across Pennsylvania and all across the United States.
Wow. I feel for him. He's got 4 young kids. I mean, they came pretty close to being killed this evening. It was by some 38-year-old guy, reportedly Cody Balmer is his name. He's now charged with attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson. Look at this. This is reminding me of like the Notre Dame Cathedral shots we saw after it burned. Aggravated arson. He may also face federal charges still. This man, Balmer, is a father of at least 4 sons and a daughter, according to a 2020 Facebook post. Unconfirmed information on Balmer. Someone found an old Facebook post from him, purportedly from him. These things come out in the days after, and then they sometimes turn out not to be true as an asterisk here. But his Facebook post, we believe, says he's a registered socialist. Voting record shows nonpartisan, unaffiliated voter. Social media posts show he supported Black Lives Matter, universal health care as a right, criticized MAGA supporters, Christians, and the Second Amendment, was also anti-Biden. Had a post that read, "Knowing is half the battle, the other half is extreme violence." Shared posts supporting mask mandates during COVID, rants slamming toxic femininity, complained about gas prices, supported Kanye West's presidential run, etc. I mean, it sounds like this guy started deteriorating. And then the New York Post reports that his Harrisburg, Pennsylvania property was subject to a foreclosure, and he was facing that. The sale was about to go ahead, and had obvious serious resentments for Governor Josh Shapiro, a Democrat, and his wife Lori, and their 4 children, 2 dogs, and another family who lived there. No injuries. I should have mentioned that up higher. One last thing. He acted quickly. He got into the home. He was there for less than a minute, and the break-in and setting of the fire happened while the troopers were looking for him. The officials believe he did have a plan, noting how quickly he was in and out of the residence and calling him methodical in his approach. He exited the property the same way he entered it, over the fence. So what do we make of this? Is this a political story? Is this a random nutcase story? What is this story, guys?
Walter?
Well, Democrats are going to have to be careful because I don't know how they distinguish between different sorts of violence and political violence anymore. You know, if he'd been in a Tesla or had just gotten out of one, it would have been thought to be maybe commendable that someone had firebombed it. If he were Luigi and he were good looking and had actually succeeded in killing someone, he might have been celebrated by Taylor Lorenz and people like that. As it is, he's not a very attractive or a very sane human being, and he nearly killed children. And there's nothing to do with him but, throw away the key. But we're starting to get into a world of blurred lines around violence. And as much as I am horrified by this, and I really do feel bad for those kids, they're going to be genuinely traumatized and scared, especially because their father has ambitions in politics. But let's lay off the violence across the board, or at least lay off the fandom around certain kinds of it.
Yeah, the Free Beacon's Peter Hasson tweeted out, "This is exactly why it's so dangerous to lionize Luigi Mangione. If it's okay to hit anybody in power you consider evil, then any politician is fair game." I mean, it's an interesting point now, because it's not every day you see a governor's mansion firebombed, Matt. This is a striking development in the land of political attacks, and I use that term generically for a reason. I don't know whether this guy's a nutcase. He sounds extreme in his political rhetoric, but I'm not seeing, stuff about like being abducted by space aliens in his social media that we've unearthed so far. He sounds like somebody was pissed off about his foreclosure. And I can't help watching this thinking we'd be hearing very different messaging from the Democrat side if this had been Ron DeSantis. I really think we would. There'd be an attempt to like understand, well, how Ron DeSantis brought this on himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be critical to determine what exactly the motive was here. Very often in these cases when people do extremely destructive things, including things like school shootings, a significant percentage of those folks are, sociopathic, predisposed to violence of some kind or another. And people attribute motives to them that they assume because of the way they dress or because of what music they listen to or that sort of thing. So in this case, all we have are some superficial indicia, right? We see a person who is associated with a lot of traditionally left-leaning causes targeting a Democratic governor who, maybe stands out on one or two particular issues as being something that kind of traditional liberals or socialists might not be happy about. But we can't assume that that's the reason. Frankly, in the foreclosure front, as somebody who's covered foreclosure courts, I'm a little surprised there hasn't been more violence of this kind, dating back to the mid-2000s, because I've seen how enraged people are by being thrown out of their homes. A significant percentage of those people are tossed out kind of unfairly. So we don't know, but I think Walter's right to talk about the lionization of Luigi and how we're in this space now where a big segment of the media is kind of intellectualizing violence as a logical response to things, and that is very scary. When
it's the new version of intellectualizing looting and rioting as
right.
One of the available options to you when you have some sort of societal upset. You've heard about tariffs recently, plus inflation, supply chain disruptions. It's a lot, but there is a silver lining that most people missed. President Trump specifically exempted gold and silver bullion from the tariff talk. The administration preserved the ability to diversify into precious metals. If you are concerned about your savings, consider a free consultation with a Birch Gold Precious Metals specialist. The first step is to text MK to 989898 and receive your free no-obligation info kit on gold. Learn how to hold gold and silver in a tax-sheltered account. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a gold IRA for no money out of pocket. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of thankful customers, consider texting MK to 989898. Again, text MK to 989898 to claim your free info kit right now. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.